This is what a muscle car is supposed to look like. Ford built them, they sent them to the Shelby plant. This was the way Carroll Shelby envisioned the car.
That's actually pretty cool, but it's sort of weird. Is there like a title to this?
The episode wastes no time diving into treasure. A seller drags in over 3,300 ounces of silver. That's right, literal buckets of dimes, quarters, and bars. The old man practically sprints out of his chair like it's Christmas morning. Rick, however, keeps his cool, warning that with this much silver, fakes are always a risk. The seller, calm as can be, says he's ready to cash out on his father's investment.
Hey, what do we got here?
A whole lot of silver.
Let me help you out real quick. The old man is crazy about silver. He's gonna be like a kid on Christmas morning when he sees this. I've never seen you get up from your desk that quick.
Rick gets right to testing. He drills into a heavy silver bar and melts down the filings. A little nitric acid later and the results are creamy white, pure silver, baby. The old man beams like he just found buried treasure. The seller's haul adds up to over $110,000 worth of silver. The room buzzes with the weight of history and money.
Okay?
Don't drop it, Rick.
I won't. Testing silver is a little work, but it's not rocket science. Stuff you have to drill deep enough to make sure there's not a lead core or some other metal in the middle of the bar.
Negotiations begin. Rick offers $110,901, a number so precise it sounds like a tax return. The seller pushes for $115,000, but Rick won't budge. They finally shake hands at $111,000 even. That's right, over 100 grand changing hands in one deal. The seller walks out thrilled, while Rick already dreams about how fast he can flip it.
Yeah, it's all right. It's fine. So we got a total of $110,901.
Well, let's make a deal.
That is the deal.
You can't go like 115?
No, I mean, there's not a lot of profit here.
To celebrate, Rick jokes about minting silver coins with the old man's face. In the old man we trust. The old man grumbles, insisting raw silver isn't for sale. But honestly, I'd buy one of those coins just to see his cranky mug every day. Talk about priceless.
Hey, Pops, how do you like this? 1 ounce silver rounds with your face on it. It says, "In the old man we trust."
That's kind of neat, Rick.
From silver, we jump to roaring engines. A Shelby GT 350 Mustang, aka Eleanor, from Gone in 60 Seconds. The seller proudly points out Carroll Shelby's signature on the glove box. Asking price? $125,000. Rick's jaw practically drops, but he plays it cool, calling in car expert Bill to give it a once-over.
You gotta be kidding me. Shelby GT 350, Gone in 60 Seconds, the movie. I get it.
Carroll Shelby was a great race car driver as well as a great builder of cars. I got it here in Las Vegas about 12 years ago.
Bill checks under the hood. A high-performance 289 engine, solid build, tight handling. The test drive seals the deal. The car purrs like a dream. Bill estimates between $100,000 and $110,000. Rick, unusually generous, offers $100,000 flat without negotiating. The seller accepts, and just like that, Rick owns an iconic muscle car.
Get under this hood here first. Nice. There it is, the Hypo 289, man. Well, this is definitely a car that's been cherished, I can tell that. What really makes the difference right now is the test drive.
Not every car story ends so sweet. Rick and Corey take flight, literally, when they check out a 1942 AT-6 Texan fighter trainer. The seller wants $185,000 for the World War II era plane. Rick calls in aviation expert Matt, who takes them airborne for a test. Barrel rolls, loops, the whole works. Rick screams like a kid on a roller coaster.
Wow, this is cool.
This is our 1942 North American AT-6 Texan.
I bet I could do a pretty good job of crashing this thing.
After landing, Matt estimates the plane at $170,000. Rick offers $140,000, citing storage and upkeep costs. The seller tries to push him up to $145,000, but Rick sticks firm. No deal. Rick leaves bummed but relieved. Because let's face it, a plane is more responsibility than Chumley at a salad bar.
Bunch of aerobatics. We did a couple loop barrel rolls.
Oh my God.
Apparently it works. So how was it? Awesome.
Then comes firepower, a Hotchkiss revolving cannon, essentially a Gatling gun on steroids. The seller sets up a live fire demo, and Rick nearly faints when the cannon obliterates water barrels and sets off a 20-pound explosive finale. His grin says it all. This thing is epic. Asking price, $75,000.
See this thing?
Well, let's take a look.
Oh my God.
It's the Hotchkiss 37mm revolving cannon.
Rick wants it badly, but his wallet doesn't. He offers $40,000 $30,000, then pushes to $45,000 cash. The seller refuses, standing firm at $75,000. Rick leaves disappointed, muttering about the long drive from Vegas to Utah, but at least he got to fire a cannon. Honestly, that's priceless in itself.
So realistically, what are you looking to get out of this thing?
The cannon's got to be $75,000. It's one of those things you just don't ever find. It's an opportunity to buy a piece of history.
From cannons to code breakers, Rick is shown a World War II German Enigma machine. The seller wants a jaw-dropping $149,300. Rick cracks jokes about whether it can help him understand women, but quickly calls in expert Will to verify. Will explains how breaking Enigma shortened World War II by 2 years. The weight of history is heavy on this one.
Of a World War II German Enigma coding machine.
An Enigma. These are amazing. This thing won't make me understand women, will it?
The machine, though, isn't perfect. Missing rotors, no matching serial numbers, and replaced parts. Will values it closer to $70,000. Rick offers $50,000, but the seller holds at $115,000. Too far apart? No deal. Rick sighs. Items like this don't come around often, but sometimes even history is too expensive.
Yeah.
So which parts were missing when you found it?
The warning plate and the rotors.
Okay. Do we have matching serial numbers throughout?
We do not. A serial number wasn't what drove the process. The rotor number was.
Music history finally makes an appearance when a seller walks in with a 1941 Gibson SJ 200 acoustic guitar owned by Stephen Stills of Crosby, Stills & Nash. The seller bought it at auction and wants a profit. Rick drools over it, but calls in Jesse for backup.
What can I help you with?
A piece of rock and roll history for you here.
Okay.
This is a 1941 Gibson SJ200. It was owned by Stephen Stills of the band Crosby, Stills & Nash.
That is cool.
Jesse confirms it's the holy grail of Gibsons, worth $75,000 to $90,000 even without the rock legend connection. With Stephen Stills' name attached, Jesse estimates $100,000 to $120,000. The seller pushes for top dollar, but Rick negotiates hard. They settle at $85,000, both leaving the deal satisfied.
Thing.
Is that right?
Stephen Stills could add another 20, 30,000. This is it. This is the one. If you're going to buy one, this is the only one that's available.
All right. Thanks, man. I'm going to get this figured out.
No problem, man. That's cool. That's a good one.
I
See you later.
appreciate it.
The episode closes with Rick reflecting on the insanity. Over $100,000 in silver, a $100,000 Mustang, and an $85,000 Gibson guitar. Add in a cannon blast and a World War II code machine. And this might be one of the most expensive Pawn Stars episodes ever. Big money, big drama, and even bigger reactions. Now that's what I call priciest pawns.
Silver. Specialty coins are one thing, but we're not supposed to sell our raw silver.
There's no pleasing you, is there?
Of course there is. Go buy me another 100 pounds of silver. Bye.
The episode opens with horsepower, literally. Corey heads out to check a 1981 Suzuki GS 1100 Pro Street drag bike. The seller brags it can do 140 miles per hour stock, and with a few tweaks, hit 200 miles per hour. Corey's eyes light up like a kid in a candy store, but the big problem? No title. That's like buying a Ferrari with a handwritten receipt.
1981 Suzuki Pro Street drag bike.
None of them were as fast. You pull a few screws out and the thing does 200 miles an hour.
The seller wants $3,000. Corey points out the missing paperwork kills the value, so he lowballs at $1,500. After some back and forth, they settle at $1,600. Not exactly a record-breaking profit, but Corey grins. Sometimes you can't pass up cool factor, even if it's just for bragging rights.
Worked back in California for the lost application and all that stuff.
Okay, so we don't have battle with it right now?
No, but I've got all the documents. He had already started with DMV out there.
Back at the shop, the real drama kicks off when a woman brings in a Beatles guitar signed by all 4 members. Yes, all 4. Rick nearly chokes on his own skepticism. Authentic Beatles autographs are rare, but on a guitar, that's the holy grail of rock memorabilia. The seller confidently asks for $100,000.
Beatles guitar, all signed by the...
That's really cool. Where did you get this?
Rick calls in Warwick, the Beatles expert. Warwick is instantly suspicious. He explains that in 1964, the Beatles usually signed autograph books, not guitars. Plus, the signatures appear to be from a felt-tip pen, which was rare at the time. Warwick warns, if real, it's worth $250,000. If fake, worthless.
You're quite right to be suspicious, because if you had a Beatles guitar signed in 1964...
Rick then calls in Steve Grad, the autograph authenticator. Steve inspects carefully, noting John Lennon's and Ringo Starr's signatures look off, especially Ringo's missing star flourish. He drops the hammer. The guitar is a forgery, crafted by a known Beatles forger. The seller's face collapses as her $100,000 dream evaporates.
They used a lot to mark like jerseys, game-used jerseys on the inside tagging and stuff like that so it wouldn't come off.
The shop buzzes after Steve's reveal. Rick shakes his head, explaining how dangerous high-profile forgeries are. Corey cracks a joke about Chumley's autograph being worth more than the fake Lennon signature. The seller insists she had no idea, but reality hits. Dreams of a Beatles payday just went down the drain.
All the time, where his signature didn't always look like an O. And this is a real pronounced D.
Trying to recover from the Beatles' bust, Corey checks out a magic lantern projector from 1912. The seller found it at a garage sale and wants $400. Corey fires it up, projecting upside-down images on the wall. It works, but Corey's unimpressed, pointing out better examples sell for less. He offers $100. The seller grudgingly accepts.
What we got here is a 1912 mirror scope, also called a magic lantern. Basically, it's a projector.
Rick joins in to explain that magic lanterns were precursors to modern film projectors. Families would gather in dark rooms and watch hand-painted slides. Corey laughs, saying it's basically 1912 Netflix. Rick doesn't disagree, minus the popcorn and the monthly subscription fee.
There was 3 different styles that they made. There was gas, there was acetylene, where you'd actually have to have a generator.
Next, a customer brings in an American Express stock certificate signed by Henry Wells and James Fargo, dated 1863. Rick nerds out, explaining this is the same Wells and Fargo that went on to form Wells Fargo. It's basically financial history on paper. The seller wants $2,500. Rick lowballs at $400, and the seller storms out, vowing to sell it online.
Hey, how can I help you, man?
I've got this piece. It's an American Express stock certificate, and it's signed by Henry Wells and James Fargo.
The old man, watching the exchange, chuckles that people often think paperwork equals instant wealth. He explains that while signatures are valuable, rarity and demand determine price. Rick nods, adding that no one's framing Amex stock certificates to hang over the fireplace.
I know if you go back and look into the original history, this all sort of started together. Basically, they started off as a freight company.
Comic relief hits when the guys argue over who forgot to refill the copy machine with paper. Rick is furious. Chumley claims it's not his job, and Corey eats lunch mid-argument. The old man just laughs. Classic family chaos in the pawn shop.
I'm just assuming, Chum, you were the last one to use the printer, right?
Well, hello, Grumpy Stiltskin.
Back to the Beatles guitar. Rick still wants to believe, but Steve Grad confirms again it's fake. He even identifies the forger, notorious for targeting Beatles memorabilia. The seller is crushed, insisting she still has hope it might be real. Rick sympathizes, but there's no deal. The guitar walks out worthless.
I see an inscription that's on here. As you could see here, they'd sign "Love from the Beatles" or "All the best. This has love."
For comic timing, Chumley tries to offer Rick his burger, saying he looks hungry. Rick shoots back that Chum should learn basic etiquette before offering food. The whole crew cracks up, proving once again the real comedy isn't in the items, it's in the employees.
You want my burger?
No.
Because he looked like he could use some food, dude.
I'm fine.
So do we have paper in the copy machine?
I'll make sure there's paper in the coffee machine after lunch.
The episode wraps with Rick lecturing about etiquette again. Coffee pots, printers, copy paper. Chumley argues that refilling is someone else's job. Rick rolls his eyes, declaring etiquette is everyone's responsibility. The old man just shakes his head, reminding everyone that in this pawn shop, history, money, and comedy are always on the table.
Yeah. You use the last of something, you replace it. Copy or paper. If you use the last of something, refill it.
The episode starts off with some shop banter. Corey suggests billboards, but Chumley insists going viral is the way to go. He starts pitching memes, comparing Rick to Grumpy Cat. Rick shuts him down fast, warning not to waste the whole day online. The old man, of course, stays grumpy without even trying. Honestly, his face alone could fund a meme empire.
So Corey, were you checking to see how much it would be to get a billboard on I-15 coming into town? I think it's good advertisement for the shop.
A billboard?
Well, people use them, so they obviously work for some people.
Why don't you go viral?
First up, a seller brings in a limited edition vellum sculpture by Hollywood legend Anthony Quinn. Rick's impressed but skeptical. It's abstract, and he's unsure how easy it would be to sell. The seller wants $5,500, which makes Rick cringe. He decides to call in Brett, his art expert, to verify if this piece is worth real money or just art class homework.
I came down to the pawn shop to sell my Anthony Quinn sculpture. I've seen a lot of his movies. I love his work. And then when I discovered that he was a painter, got to finally see some of his work, I decided to
Brett arrives and lights up. He explains Quinn was an artist before acting fame swept him away, and this relief sculpture was part of a limited run of 95. Brett values it at $3,000 to $4,000. The seller feels confident, but Rick sees the gap between value and profit. Cue negotiation tension.
He was in a lot of great movies.
Yeah, he was kind of always the man's man.
Yeah, he was always a badass. He's definitely always a badass.
Rick makes his move. He offers $2,000. The seller shoots for $3,000, and after a little haggling, they settle at $2,100. The seller admits he came in with a plan, and walking out just $100 shy of his ask feels like a win. Rick smiles, glad he snagged art with potential without overpaying.
I'm not going to try to beat you up, but do you have a realistic price that you would take for this?
A nice, beautiful frame. How about $3,000?
No, I mean, there's no money in it for me at $3,000.
So what do you think?
Meanwhile, a man rolls in with a 1930s penny arcade grip strength tester. The machine looks like it has seen more bars than a blues musician. The seller asks $2,000. Rick tests it, squeezes the handle, and gets a "you're a man" message. Corey laughs, saying Rick must have cheated with two hands. Rick lowballs at $400.
I came down to the shop today to sell my 1930s Gottlieb grip test. Anybody that had a penny could walk up to this device, squeeze as hard as they could.
The seller resists, but eventually drops to $600. Rick agrees, explaining full restorations can cost hundreds. Still, he's excited. It's rare and collectible once fixed. Bob the restorer later confirms it'll cost $680 to bring back to glory, but once complete, it'll sell for $2,000 or more. Rick keeps it for himself, proudly calling it badass.
Earlier, I bought a 1930s grip tester that needs a ton of work. So I called Bob down to see how much a restoration would cost. Aww, is this like the coolest ever? I love that. I mean, I know they made a lot of these, but I've never had one before.
Then comes a fiery twist. A seller presents a New York Fire Department badge, allegedly over 150 years old. The seller wants $500, claiming it belonged to a fireman named Thomas McCain. Rick calls in Mark, a fire memorabilia expert, who confirms the badge dates to 1865. Real history, real firefighter, real cool.
It's a fireman's pin from New York.
Take a look at it. So you don't sound like you're from New York, my man. Where'd you get it?
From a buddy of mine named Pete. Kind of got an interesting story about it. His great-grandmother just recently passed away, and they found a box that she had secretly hid in the house.
But value doesn't always match history. Mark explains badges are common since no one threw away grandpas. Rick offers $150. The seller pushes for $300, and they compromise at $200. The seller shrugs, saying he'll put the cash to good use in Vegas. A slice of firehouse history changes hands.
Come down and take a look at it.
Ah, this is the badge you called me about. Well, do you mind if I take a little look at it?
Oh, feel free.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. New York Fire Department's the largest fire department in the United States, over 10,000 members.
Back to the grip tester, Bob reveals the restoration. It gleams with new nickel plating, polished colors, and fresh graphics. Rick is blown away, calling it one of Bob's best jobs. Even after paying $680, Rick decides not to sell. It's too cool. For once, profit takes a back seat to pride.
Whoa, that looks amazing. That came out better than I even imagined.
Took it all apart. We redid all the graphics. I polished out the old color to make sure this was the right color exact.
Comic relief hits when Chumlee's viral campaign finally takes shape. He poses in awkward memes, but Corey and Rick prank him by posting photos of Chum sleeping at work with captions like, "Sometimes I get so bored, I start working." Chum is furious, demanding they take them down.
Social Media King is here. About to go viral with these. Need chicken wings now? It's the first one. I also got, I can pawn in my sleep.
Rick laughs it off, pointing out that's exactly what going viral means. Chum storms off, muttering, while the rest of the crew doubles over with laughter. Even the old man cracks a rare smile, proving the prank was worth it. Chumlee once again learns that the internet is undefeated.
Shot, but when I do, I usually taking a nap.
You didn't post that.
Yeah, we did. Sometimes I get so bored, I actually start working.
These aren't funny. You take them down.
The Anthony Quinn sculpture stands out as one of the episode's highlights. Brett's explanation that Quinn was as much artist as actor gave the seller confidence, and Rick secured it at a smart price. The mix of Hollywood fame and genuine artistic effort makes it one of those quirky Pawn Stars treasures.
Truthfully, he was actually an artist before all of that. Fate intervened, and he was offered up an incredible contract to be an actor, which he took, but he never got too far away from his fine art roots. during the course of his career.
The Fireman's Badge deal also hits hard. Real person, real story, but limited market value. It's the kind of item Rick loves for history, but not always for profit. Still, holding something from 1865 makes you feel the weight of the past in your hands.
Well, do you mind if I take a little look at it?
Oh, feel free.
Okay.
Sure.